infectious smiles of youth. But a chance for us now to take a quick look at the sides before we get underway here at Kingston Park. So there we go, there are the two lineups, as we said a little earlier. It is Lizzie Duffy who is wearing 10 for England today, but she does have a co-captain there in Maisie Allen. Maisie plays her rugby at Exeter at the moment. She's also studying at the university there. Whilst for Scotland, we mentioned Holly McIntyre. She's at the University of Edinburgh. She's very chilled, stern, strong voice there for Scotland. On the replacements bench, we've got a few more there. Normally we'd just see down to 23, but because this isn't an official international fixture, because of their age, they're allowed a few more. And ultimately, Abby, it's very important experience that you can have those extra subs.
Yeah, it is. It's important, you know, these opportunities are about looking at players. So to enable, you know, an extra few players on the bench, it allows the coaches to look at even more. And I think, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they go. I'm really looking forward to seeing, like you said, the co-captains of Maisie Allen and Lizzie Duffy. I think they're going to go very well today.
Alademuki there, our referee, ready to get us underway. Scotland will be travelling from left to right in this first half.
All on side.
Waiting with the ball in the hand. Now it is wet out here at Kingston Park. It's going to be slippery. So let's see how they go. And as I did say it was wet, I warned you straight away. I think that Grace Clifford did try to recover that one, but it's been raining now pretty much since the international between England and Scotland actually finished. So a little opportunity here for Scotland to make a decision about what they're going to do. Ball's going to end up in the hands there of Carla McDonald. And a big sign of intention there. They could have kicked that penalty if they'd have wanted to. There's not too big a breeze out there.
Yeah, there isn't, but I think it's about, you know, let's get some possession. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's test out the maul. I'm excited to see what Scotland can do around set piece, because it's something that, you know, the senior team have been working really hard at.
There we go. Simpson gets the ball in. There was a hand on it there from England, but gathered in the end by Fletcher. Ball goes down then. Clark looks up, tries to assess her options on either side. Clark once again manages to find her fly half in the form there of McDonald. Still Scottish ball, big hits raining in on Fraser on the floor. Look at the power there at the ruck from England, really trying to disrupt Scotland. That one went loose again. Referee happy that it's all backwards and play can continue. Clark going forward. In the end, it's Carla McDonald who decides that she wants to take it on herself. You can just see that, the rain pounding down. This is going to be so tricky for these young women.
Yeah, and I think it's particularly important about how they manage this. There's been a few loose balls, so are they going to tighten it up? You can see Scotland have a lot of width, and we're looking to play with a lot of width early, but that might not be the game plan in these conditions.
Well, Isabella Hannay there, taking on the ball, and this has been a long passage of play now for the Scottish women. They will just be hoping that they can break through and get over the gain line, as we see a Maisie run come in by Phillips. She has to push the ball away in the end. They decide to use more forward power in the end, but they've been kept out of the 22. They've flirted with that line for a long time now. Clark. Bit more forward ballast from Turner. Really nice run coming in there by Stewart. Soft hands, Fraser, and that's back in the 22. We've gone through about 10 phases here for Scotland, and eventually it comes out of play on this near side, and that's where you just have to credit that English defence.
You do.
I think there was some phenomenal defence. They managed to edge Scotland back, but fair play, Scotland had some nice interlinking runners coming off both sides and just finding their way through, but that's where they just need that little bit of patience, keep hold of the ball, because they were starting to build pressure.
Step out for me, please.
Well, the ball just bobbling out of play there, but a chance to see a bit of England's set piece from Amy Dale. She gets it in nicely, gathered in the air, and then by Ives Campion. Big run coming in from Allen. Penalty straight away.
This player first.
England ball. And really calm there from England. There wasn't any rush there or thought about taking it quickly. They're thinking about this.
Yeah, and you would hope that they've been through those scenarios and they know what they're going to do in certain areas of the field. And I do wonder, every single player in the England side
Scotland,
plays
10.
and trains at Premier 15's
Make
club.
sure they're clearing
And
the
will
tackle
that
zone
extra
first.
bit of experience in and around them and
Clear the
playing in
tackle
the
zone.
Prem help them in games like this?
Okay, stay out.
Gloucester Hartbury player Dale gets the ball in, calmly taken in the air once again. Nice. Standing there in that first receiver position was Hendy,
Yeah, it's forward.
but it's gone forward.
Just
And we get to see a scrum. Is that okay, Abby? I know you prefer the line out, but scrum's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the game beforehand set a real precedence on how the England wanted to scrum, but it will be interesting to see, how this first one goes.
That was just that little forward pass there in the end to Nancy McGilvery. Now, McGilvery, she's actually in the England setup at the moment. She was selected in that Six Nations squad, not involved though in the match against Scotland today.
Crouch.
But it's that experience in camp for a lot of the young women that
We're
come
way
in.
too far.
Yeah, it's
We'll never
absolutely
get
huge,
there.
and it's
Okay,
so nice to
come up.
see,
There,
these girls
you're fine.
in and around camp getting that experience, which they can then take back into the under-20s, and actually they can be the experienced heads in these sides.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Rhea Clark there, screaming away the orders. There's a nudge on here from England, and that ball has not gone to the back feet for Scotland. Oh, what a turnover from England. That was strong stuff. They can hang their hat on that. Here they come away this time through McGilvery. She's still going. Gathered ball now by England. This is the best attack that they've had so far. They decide to switch back towards this near side. On it, waiting was Goldthorpe. She's done well to stay inside the field of play.
Right. 10. 10.
Another penalty for England,
Number 10.
and this is where they want to be.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that scrum was a real statement of intent, and I think the physicality actually of the England side has shown so far. So yeah, massive opportunity, first opportunity in the 22. Let's see if they can take it.
Scotland. Come up.
Well, they've had a few good line-outs so far. There's Lizzie Duffy. Just making sure everyone's clear on their roles and what they want to do.
Okay, England come in.
Another player who's in the England camp at the moment.
Thank you. England in.
Dale goes towards the middle of the line-out. You can just see she's quickly tracked round the back to see if she can get her mitts on it. This is moving nicely. Dale does have it at the back. That's over from England. Is it down? Yes, it is. England strike early in this match. It's Dale who gets the touchdown. She did the work of a hooker well. Very, very similar to what we've seen a lot of Amy Cockayne doing of late. And it's England 5, Scotland 0.
I think it's just been so clinical. Under pressure, yes, to begin with, in their 22, but as soon as they've got possession, they've worked their way up the pitch with penalties, with turning the scrum over. They've got into the 22, and that set piece was, like I said, clinical. They've had the patience. They've kept it going forward. They've come away with points.
And when it comes to these driving mauls, we didn't talk so much about them in the England-Scotland game because England didn't really deploy it much until the second half. But what's it like when you're actually in it and what your role is at that specific time when you can't see anything in there?
Yeah, your role is just drive as hard as you can. It's not pretty, but it's not meant to look pretty. Just stay in as tight and as square as possible, having that patience and trusting that everyone around you is doing their job. Whoever's on ball is looking after it. The nine's talking to the referee. The person at the front is steering it, and you're just doing your little piece of that puzzle. And that's, I think, what set piece is about.
Duffy then with the conversion. Difficult conditions out there. That one to the left-hand side of the uprights. So England 5, Scotland 0. This was the score. And again, you can see from that what the rain is like here at Kingston Park. It is wet, and that ball is going to be soapy. Right then, restart then from Scotland. I've been told we are getting messages on from people who are watching online. We will work through some of them shortly. Sounds very clever to get messages online. I don't know how people do that, but do get in touch if you know how. Right then. Still England ball, who are ahead early on. Scotland had a very bright opening to this fixture as the ball comes away this time through Grace Clifford, who is still off and flying. She's a big, strong woman. She's just lost it there in the contact at the last moment. But that was a great run by Grace Clifford, who...
Lost forwards, inside
her dad, you might know the surname. Her dad is Carl Clifford, who used to play for Quins, so she comes from good stock.
It was very Sarah Byrne-esque, wasn't it, as it from a tight head? It's great to see, and that is, I think, the athletic capabilities are coming through in the game now. The game is changing. Props can make 20-metre runs, and it's happening more often, but I think there's been some great carrying. Ella as well, taking the ball at 8 and setting a really good platform.
Okay, as they just scrum down, I can tell you that Ali Marshall, 101, said, so excited. Come on, Amy Dale too. We love you. Philip Potter said, good luck to Neve Williams. And lots of other messages as well, as England got the nudge on once again.
Thank you.
Ball's going to come out still on the Scotland side. Getting herself out of trouble there, Rachel Phillips. Plays a rugby at the University of Edinburgh. There's a lot of Scotland women now coming through that pathway through the university. Oh, that was a really nice bit of work there on the touchline by Goldthorpe. Not only has she kept her toes in, she's made some good meters as well. Big truck on this time through Neve Orchard. No relation of mine, I have to say. Oh, nice pop-off from Duffy. She managed to get it to Allen. It's the captain, Allen. She's going to go over for England's second. And the under-20s are flying. 10 minutes on the clock, 10 points on the board.
What a lovely line from Maisie Allen there. And that's something that she's been doing week in, week out for Exeter Chiefs in the Premiership, and she's just brought it straight to Kingston Park. So nice to see. It's that link play between Duffy and Allen, and it's like they've been playing together for years. Even though they're not at the same club, they're obviously linking up so well at under-20s. But I think Scotland, they need to do something around the breakdown. The speed of ball that England are playing with is fantastic, and it's just getting them on the front foot, you know, phase after phase. But Scotland, you know, they're going to have to do something there if they want to slow it down.
Well, it all started there from Goldthorpe, and in the end, there was Allen. Nice bit of footwork there at the end as well for her to eventually finish it off.
Numbers line out.
And it's going to be Lizzie Duffy now.
Yeah, it's immaterial, but
Has to line this one up. I think you got a good shot of the rain there, pounding down. Well, Duffy's got that one. That'll give her a little bit of confidence. And Lizzie Duffy, she's playing a rugby at Sale, and I know Katie Daly-McQueen's on a bit of maternity leave at the moment, but I know she's spent a lot of time with Lizzie Duffy, and what a better person to learn about how to be a fly half. Yeah,
I've spoken to Katie a little bit about you know, what's going on at Sale, and she can't speak highly enough of Lizzie Duffy, and particularly, you know, the skill set and the vision that she has. And I've got no doubt that, you know, some of that does come from Katie.
Restart from... Oh, that's really nice from Scotland. Great take in the end by McIntyre, the captain. She read that beautifully. Chase every ball. That is the message. Logan.
I think that's probably one area that England need to clean up a little bit. It's got to be their restart receptions. First one, you know, not catching it cleanly. Second one, letting it bounce. And that third one, Scotland regathering.
Pushed out to the far side of the field. Arthur Queen's Park, Fraser.
No,
this time it's Fletcher. Well, there was a big shout for it there by Walker, who ended up sort of running backwards and forwards before she actually went direct. But we've got penalty advantage now for Scotland. It's well read by England, but they'll come back.
By number 1, and she's falling. She's around the neck.
Well, penalty here for Scotland. They're just going to come back and make a decision of what they're going to do. Carla McDonald then. Palzer Rugby at Hillhead, Jordan Hill. Not the kick she wanted, she knows that. And in the end, England managed to clear away. They've not quite got to the halfway line yet, but that's a spilt ball backwards by the Scottish back three. This time Fraser.
Stay down 5, 8.
So that will be a frustration there for Scotland,
Yeah,
but in
agree.
the end
Number
it comes
10.
back towards the near side, and they are struggling with the wet ball as
Number
Bell
10
can't quite get her
offside.
either.
Yeah, that will be disappointing. You've got to make touch with opportunities like that, but here they are, they've got another and they're on the attack.
Well, they're still running. It's the captain McIntyre once again.
Stay where you are.
It's interesting to go quickly, particularly in these conditions. Big run coming in this time by Fletcher. Clark. Waiting. Long pass across the body there of McDonald. Might need to be a little bit quicker as the game progresses, or she'll have to stand a bit closer. Passed out towards the far side. This is nice from Scotland. It's Tonkin on it still. Still Tonkin goes! And Scotland get off the mark. Evie Tonkin from DMP. She knows the way to the try line. It's England 12, Scotland 5.
Yeah, Evie Tonkin, I think really is, you know, a futures player. She has been in and around the game for a long time. I've actually played with Evie back at Keswick. We come from the same hometown, so it's so nice to see her in games like this. And she's been in and around, you know, the Scotland first team. So I've got no doubt that what she's capable of and scoring tries like that. And I think, you know, get the ball to her more often, and I think she'll be making more and more meters.
Well, that was Tonkin there. Just managing to evade those tackles, a little bit of side-to-side, shimmy. And some of the England players just sliding off it as eventually she goes over. And we did say at the start of this is an England under-20 side, but this is a Scotland future side. So that means that some of the Scotland players are up to around 23 years old. And that's all just been a part of making sure, we said these women, they need this rugby. It's a really important pathway for them. Not to be on that occasion for Carla McDonald, so it remains England 12, Scotland 5.
England 12, Scotland futures 5.
I don't know if some of the players are going to have to start wringing out their shirts at some point in this fixture. Not quite memories just yet of England's quarter-final match against Australia, which I'm sure will live in your memory for a long time, Abby.
That was something else, that game.
It was pretty wet. At times they didn't actually know if the match was going to go ahead. It was that wet, but it went ahead with the very famous now video at half-time of Emily Scarrett wringing out her socks as she went into the changing room.
Yeah, leave
she
her alone.
did say on camera, "I've never done that before." Bit of a miss pass there for Scotland, forces the knock-on. Just not quite clean distribution there, but when you're playing in these conditions, Abby, what do you have to change?
It depends on your skill set, but in these conditions, I don't think you can afford to, you know, play as wide as you'd like to. Again, it might have been different conditions during the week, so they might have been planning on playing, you know, lots of ball in hand, playing out of their half. But then if you show up and the weather's like this, you need to change that, and you need to make sure everyone's on the same page. So whether you need to tighten it up a little bit or have less passes or actually play territory, sometimes actually don't have the ball, put the ball into the opposition's half and put pressure on defensively.
Ball in from England. This is a nice position for them. Sellers is just trying to drive forward. Penalty advantage as well. Sellers is making sure that eventually is collected at the base by Nigarelli. Lovely run by the Bristol number 8. Spun out, ball does come eventually in the end. Oh, is that going to be finished off? They're over the line this time through Whitley. She knows to place back. She did well that it didn't end up as a goal line dropout for Scotland. Snipe round the corner. Still English ball. They need patience here.
Short away!
Now that looked like it did go over the line. Referee's happy that it is touchdown that time. A third try for England.
And it's just simple things done well. I'm so happy to see Ellen Nigarelli playing today. She plays at Bristol Bears alongside me, train alongside her, and she's, you know, had a rough time with some injuries, but she's back in form, and setting a platform like that is so important to the way that England want to play.
But it all came there from that huge run off the base there. Nigarelli made the important meters, and then it was just patience here from England.
Yeah.
Duffy. Duffy, right boot. And there we go. England looking very confident now on the scoreboard. Scotland have had their purple patches. What are the simple messages that come on when the scoreline is like this so the match doesn't get away from them?
I think when they're getting into the English half, they're putting pressure on. They're getting penalties, but when they get the penalties, they need to be clinical. They need to ensure that it's making touch and then making sure that, you know, the set piece is where they want it to be, that they're retaining ball, because when they keep pressure on, they are making inch-by-inch games.
English ball then, back inside in their own half. Nice little pop off, that time by Duffy.
Good turnover.
Nice from Scotland. Come back for the penalty.
Nine's got to stay up. Yep.
And once again, she's gone quickly, Clark. She's got support there on her shoulder through Walker. They managed to push out again this time to Simpson. At the right end of the field, here's Scotland. They don't want to lose this position. Fletcher. Really good jackling there from England, but yes, that was good by Negrelli.
And again, that'll be so frustrating for Scotland. I think, you know, we spoke about earlier, they've got to stop England's breakdown. They've got to slow it down. The first one that they go into for the jackal, they get the penalty. So that might be an area that maybe they should look to try and challenge a little bit more.
Well, the ball is in, although the flag is flying on the far side. So touch judge says no.
Scotland, you got to halfway.
Well, a lot of the women playing here today, they are all attached to Premier 15 sides. Premier 15s has taken a bit of a break at the moment while the Six Nations is on. It will resume on the 13th of May. A few teams already confirmed in the playoffs, Exeter and Gloucester, but a real battle royale going on further down the table. As England just try and drive this one forwards.
Still joined.
This has worked really nicely.
Okay, once nine.
And I do wonder whether, you know, it will show in this game. There's only 2 players in the Scotland side that are linked with Premier 15s teams, whereas every player in the England side is. And we talk about the Premier 15s being the best league in the world. And although these under-20 players aren't all starting, they're in and around experienced players. They're having to front up physically day in, day out in training. And I think they can then take this into playing in games like this.
Well, you can certainly see some of the experience here as Clifford, but that's a breakaway from Scotland, from Fraser. Fraser's still going, she's just got to put the burners on. Wonderful stuff from Fraser, a really well-read line. And Scotland needed to score. They didn't want England to get too far away from them, and that will do nicely.
Yeah, it's one thing, you know, being able to read it, but to have the gas to finish it off, 50-metre try, is pretty amazing, pretty phenomenal. So great try there from Fraser, and I think Scotland definitely are still in this. And I just want to see them put the pressure on, because when they do, they're getting a foot in the door.
Well, that was the loose pass. It was looking good from England, but Roma Fraser just scanning the horizon. Plays a rugby at Tartha Queen's Park. Had the gas to finish it off, and Evie Tunkin, I think, just had to say fair play.
It's going to be interesting, because obviously there's a lot of pace in this back three from Scotland, but how do they get them the ball? How do they bring them into the game in conditions like this?
Well, the one who'll be trying to figure that one out is their coach, Claire Cruikshank. She's been coaching the Thistle side in the Celtic Challenge as well, as the conversion looks good there. Nice stuff by McDonald. And that makes the scoreline far more comfortable for Scotland. I know England didn't take part in the Celtic Challenge, Abby, but it was a really important development competition for the likes of Wales, Ireland, Scotland, and they seem to have really sort of mined out a few good players from it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hugely important to get, you know, all these players that are playing within these clubs and universities in Scotland, get them together and really show where the talent is coming from. And they've obviously been able to pick that out and put them together, you know, in this futures side.
Also gives a big opportunity for players. I mean, just in the earlier game, a player like Fran McGee got her first cap for Scotland today. They said just her time at the Celtic Challenge was just invaluable, with her knowing, as we just see a wonderful run down this near side there by Nigarelli. Eventually she ran out of track. She's a strong woman, isn't she?
She is, absolutely, and I have to wrestle with her,
England,
you know, most weeks at clubs, so I know that firsthand. And I think, you know, she'll be disappointed there going into touch, but, you know, she's shown the strength and the skill set that she's got.
Okay, Scotland in then, please. Stay 10. Stay 10.
Simpson finds the woman at the front. Huge hit coming in there by Maisie Allen.
Good counter up. No, 7.
Warning there. England have got that ball. That is impressive work. Niamh Orchard spun out in the end. Nice little dummy in the end that gets the ball into the hands of McGilvery. She needs to get her body position a little bit low, McGilvery. She's just a couple of times been caught now a bit high. Out on the far side of the field, 5 meters from the far side touch, and they're going to track back towards the near side of the pitch. Sellers, popped off ball in the end, comes to Ives Campion.
No lift on the ball.
Referee's watching close. They think they've got numbers out there at the moment, England. They're not going to get that last pass away. It's a little bit laboured. And Whitley's refusing to go down to the floor. It's just giving that extra bit of time for that Scotland defence to reorganise themselves, and that's gone forwards from England. Referee happy it's come off a leg. They continue through Duffy. Sellers. Nice big handoff from Hendy. Support arriving from McGilvery. This time Buchanan. Oh, loose ball. Scotland have it.
Going forward.
It's gone forward, so England will get it back, but it was a little bit lateral.
It was,
Scrum.
yeah.
White ball.
I think, you know, there was an error on the far side. Prior to that, I really like the way that Lizzie Duffy was controlling things. She's a player that when she takes the ball to the line, she seems to have more time than anybody else. And the way that she's put, you know, Maisie Allen and I think it's Nancy McGilvery through holes, she just draws the defence and seems to find space for other people. But once it got to the far side, that's when there was a couple of errors, and then everything else seemed lateral. So they've got to find a way to get momentum back. They've got to have those front foot carries and just find those really hard yards.
Well, there's been some huge hits that have been going on in this fixture so far, as they just deal with that injury there. As the ball, look at that coming in from England, and just to get straight back to her feet there, Alan.
Textbook stuff from a 7, isn't it?
Anyone would think she'd been watching Sadia Kabir and Marley Packer a little bit earlier.
Okay, you stayed on the wrong side for too long. At the moment, it's not really material. If it does, then
well, a little bit of treatment continues. Well, we think that's Rachel Phillips who's down at the moment, receiving a little bit of treatment. There's plenty of substitutes, as we said at the top here, but I don't think they'll want to rotate it just yet with only 26 minutes on the clock. There we go, magic strapping. I mean, I can't talk too much about this, Abby, but you can. I did break my leg playing rugby, and when I came back, the strapping feels fantastic. It makes you almost feel like there's nothing there at all. It can do wonders.
I don't know, it's just like,
yeah, strapping can definitely hold you together. A bit of spray.
Magic sponge.
Yeah, but I think for these girls, this opportunity, this occasion is huge. So sometimes you just shake it off, have a breather. There's nothing that's, you know, you're not going to walk off the pitch unless you have to in games like these. So, yeah, hopefully a little, you know, couple of minutes with the physios and she'll be back running around.
Well, Lizzie Duffy there directing, giving out the orders, knows what she wants. Well, it looks like it's going to be okay for Rachel Phillips to continue. Left ankle heavily strapped,
Okay.
ready to go
then,
again.
please.
So just a little break in proceedings there.
There's our
There you
mark.
go, there's the left ankle.
Okay, keep
Ready
connected at the hip.
to go in for more action.
Yes, England ball.
And we're in a very similar
forward by
place to where England scored their last try from when they turned over the scrum. Had that massive carry from Negrelli. So it'd be interesting to see what they do here, whether they use the back straight away. Duffy looks like she's lined up for a few moves here.
Crouch!
Well, the front row for England are all attached to Premier 15 sides. Catherine Wells, Amy Dale and Grace
Set.
Clifford.
Hold.
That's
Okay,
holding,
go.
not as big a nudge as it has had before. Really nice coming in, big run from McGilvery again. Back down, pop back inside. I think Sellers thought there was going to be a little bit of daylight there, so there's no scrum half, she's stuck on the floor. Not releasing. And also being marched back 10 as well. Doesn't like the back chat.
No,
one
and
holding,
England
second
must
one,
be
back
so
chat.
disappointed with that because they had such an overlap on the far side too. I think they were begging for it out there, but fair play Scotland getting the penalty, and then England, you just can't do that. You can't backtrack, you can't talk to the referee. You've got to get back 10, get set.
Has that made touch? Yes, it has. Is it especially frustrating? I mean, I know you're a forward, and obviously you deal with all these fancy back moves all the time, Abby, but when the backs get so frustrated like that, that's something they have tried to execute perfectly so many times in training, then it just sort of slowly crumbles around them when they try and execute.
Yeah, and I think that a bit of nerves comes into it. You might have repped stuff, you know, a million times in training, but when you're actually in a test match, I know this isn't a test match per se, but it's as good as you can get, as close as you can get. And I think sometimes players just get a bit over-eager.
You swiveled around the corner, accidental scrum.
And that's probably another example. Potentially they've got a little bit over-eager rather than being patient, staying square in the maul. They've gone round the corner, accidental, you know, offside, and Scotland have got another let off.
Well, change here for Scotland. That is going to be it for Rachel Phillips. That ankle isn't going to hold, so we get to see Skye Fimster coming on. Plays a rugby for Stirling County RFC. So disappointment there for Rachel Phillips. We have to remember also we're playing this on an artificial pitch as well, and that can do funny things to a lot of people's bodies if they're not used to it.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Hold!
You can just hear the rain pounding down here as that ball is loose. Somehow Scotland have kept that in, but it's tricky because England are
Just going
pushing.
up and round, reset. Up and round, reset.
Would you be happy with that decision, Abby? I'm looking at your face. People can't see, but I can tell you're frustrated.
I think for Scotland, they've got to get it out sooner. We've seen the physicality and the dominance that England have had at scrum time. So for me, it's about grinding down, bearing down with your chest, getting in the best position that you can, but then using it quickly. Don't give England any opportunity to come back at you and to put their weight on and push through.
Set! Hold.
Well, that one's gone straight down on the near side, but the ref thinks that is out, and so it's grabbed there by Freya Walker and says, let's go. McIntyre.
Let it go.
Clark with the distribution.
Carried back.
They're trying to get this one out of this end of the field. They've had enough being here, Scotland. Oh, that was a high tackle that came in there on Bruh. Still going forward this time through Orchard. Spun out ball. Hard run this time coming through Whitley. England must feel that they have been at this end of the area of the field for a long time now. Scotland defence is holding, but I think after the excitement of those early passages of play, we haven't seen the scoreline change now for about 10 minutes, and it's the conditions that they've also got to battle.
It is, and for me, Scotland, they're managing to get out of those areas. It's it's like they've just let the pressure off, but then they make an error, or maybe, you know, the exit kick wasn't as good as they'd want it to be, or they're not making the ground that they'd want to be, and it just puts the pressure back on them. And then suddenly they find themselves 10 metres out defending another maul.
Secret whisper comes in from Wells to Dale.
Yeah, they've got one out. Thank you.
Scotland just making sure they've got the correct numbers. They go towards the middle.
Access.
They've already scored a try from this position already. This is a little bit further out from England. And Scotland are good for their number. They've managed to just slightly change direction on that. They've got some traction now here, England. Dale is there at the back.
Still moving forward for me.
Referee's happy. That's tracking forwards as Dale got it down. Yes! That's a 4th try for England. And Scotland need to find an answer to the driving maul.
Yeah, you know what? It was really good initial weight from Scotland. They got straight in there and it looked like they'd stopped it. What England did this time, which they didn't do last time, is they stayed patient. They found the corner, but rather than breaking off with 1 or 2 players, they stayed as a pack. Okay. Then they managed to square up again, and from that it was a run-in.
Yeah.
There you go, you can just see Amy Dale there. She's got that ball under her right arm. She's wearing the black scrum cap with just that green trim. Okay. It can often get a little bit lost in there sometimes. You actually touches down the ball, but I'd say about 7 times out of 10 it's the hooker. That right?
Yeah, I mean, unless, you know, Marley Packer's in there.
And she scores a hat-trick. There you go. That is what happened in the match earlier. Duffy with that little lean back style. That one looks good. And flags fly. And I have to say, Lizzie Duffy, I don't know if she'll be feeling the pressure a little bit, but the England coaches are hanging around. They're watching this. She is in the England setup, and there is an opportunity at the moment at fly half for England. Someone's going to get a chance.
Absolutely, and I think she'll be the first person to put her hand up and say, give me that chance, I want that opportunity. It's great to see, you know, the England coaches hanging around, both the England and the Scotland players as well. I think there's a lot of Premiership coaches here, so it's a great, you know, showcase for the young players coming through.
Big take there for England. This is strong stuff. Ives Campion there. Orchard. I have to say, the back row from England is certainly impressing right now.
5.
They've managed to hold on to that. Duffy has to go in and do a little bit of a scrum half effort as Wells takes it forward. Well, Sellers was appealing.
Hold him on.
It's gone the other way. And Scotland just need to settle, calm themselves, find a little bit of possession.
To turn it over. That's why you won't hear
another score before half-time would do them a whole world of confidence. That won't help. England back on the ball, no touch found. Kick through there by McGilvery. The extra woman just pushing that back three. Fraser has to track back. She fancies this on this near side. Big tackles coming in.
Stay.
That's Renika Bonner, who has come on as a change for England. She's another Bristol player. I'm excited to see what she can do.
Once again, Fraser. Spun back towards the middle of the field. Get to see Walker on the ball. Clark. Long pass back. McDonald with the kick down the field. Duffy's got so much time to make her decisions. She's got a decent boot on her. And I have to say, McDonald will be disappointed with that. Because I think she made contact with it, and that has given a whole world of possession back to England.
Yeah, I don't know if she touched it. I didn't think she touched it, so I feel like she should have just dotted it down for a 22 dropout rather than kicking it out and giving, you know, England another great opportunity and a great, you know, position here in the 22.
Out then.
I think we know what's coming.
Down Scotland.
There it is.
Maul.
They
No.
drive, they maul.
Now.
Amy Dale here. The Gloucester Hartbury hooker could be on for a hat-trick if they
Okay,
can
that's
get this
once.
moving. It is still moving. Referee is happy.
Tackle now.
That one has collapsed. The pick and go round the corner. On the ball there was Wells.
Hands and feet. Hands and feet.
Patience from England. Just sniping at the corners there of that ruck. Trying to see if they can see a little bit of daylight. That's over.
Hit the line first,
England
then build up.
touchdown. Referee's happy.
Ball's clearly on the line first.
And this time it's Grace Clifford. And that is try number 5 for England as we approach the halfway mark.
Yeah, they've got to be happy with that. Again, maybe a bit of naivety in terms of game management for Scotland, but England have been so good when they get in the 22 that, you know, the points conversion rate is fantastic in terms of every time they're in there, they're almost coming away with something. Yes, Scotland have held up the defence a little bit, but when it comes to the maul, they haven't been able to stop it.
Well, Grace Clifford there, she was the one. And it's really important to remember that they had the patience, England, to make sure they stayed in that position. It's often tempting to do it really quickly or spin it out wide or take a risk while just keeping it tight in the forwards. Doing the hard graft, it can pay dividends.
And I think where they're really fortunate is they've got an abundance of real strong ball carriers. So you're not just looking for 1 or 2 players to do the work. You've got fantastic carriers in the front row, in the second row, in the back row, you know, in the centres. So there's threats coming from everywhere.
Duffy just nudges that one left hand of the uprights, but still a respectable scoreline here for England. 2 minutes left to travel until the halfway mark, and Scotland, again, each time England score, they just about manage to get something to keep them in touching distance, but this is looking a healthy scoreline now for the England under-20s. Well, Scotland did well at the last restart. No one wants to put a name on it for England. In the end, it's Negrelli. Duffy. Oh, 3 Scotland players flying up towards her.
All advanced, all advanced.
Well, all of England offside. They've
Number
got
9,
to wait.
number 4.
And they've been pinged twice for that now.
Number 3.
After the first
All
time,
advanced
you've
in
got
front of
to
the kick,
react.
never
You've
stop.
got to learn from those mistakes. They're really dull penalties to give away.
This time we get to see Logan on the ball. She's got support on her shoulder through Fletcher.
No, nothing there for me.
There are going to be a few more changes coming from both sides as they spin it towards the far side. Nice little captain's pass, in the end managed to get it to Stewart.
Yeah.
Waiting calmly for it is Walker.
And you think here, this is where Scotland have got to be patient now. They've got to keep the ball. They've got to come away with points just before half-time.
Well, Clark scans for options. About 20 seconds left of regular time. Walker once again.
Yeah, agree. Penalty advantage.
She's well
number
held
4
up there
offside.
by the white shirts. Just working through the phases here, Scotland.
Still on
and
the advantage.
there's Grace Clifford slightly flopping over that ruck as they try and just kick it through, gathered by England.
Okay, so we've got an option. 1 there for the offside for in front of kick, or 1 on the 5 metre in front of that
And they
post.
have been taking the penalties quick.
it's not
Obviously,
bad.
this isn't a quick penalty, so it'd be interesting to see what option they choose.
Okay. Offside.
Well, the clock is gone now, so
Yeah.
when we get the next break and play, that will be half-time. Ball is spun out, big hits raining down this time on Turner.
Ball.
Turner still has the ball in there somewhere, and it's going to be slow as eventually it comes out. Fletcher. Oh, nice round the corner. Can Scotland finish? That looks like it's over.
No. She's allowed 1 placement.
That was a
stopped
lovely
and then she
try.
placed it.
Just seeing that tiny bit of space
Well, yes,
open up.
it's given by our referee, and Scotland just managed to bite back. Each time England get their noses in front, Scotland come away with something.
There seemed to be just a glint of opportunity, and she's taken it. She's found the space around the breakdown, found a way to the try line.
Well, it was Isabella Hannay who went over.
And she's had to work for that finish as well, so it's a great finish.
Coach was saying in the build-up to this that she's happy to go to the dark places for her side. And she found a little dark hole to skip over at a half-time. Well, that one looks good. It is good. The flags fly. So that will be half-time then in this England under-20s match, taking on Scotland Futures. 5 tries for England, 3 for Scotland. Plenty of changes to come in the second half, probably for both sides. But still a really encouraging scoreline in what has been terrible conditions. The half-time score, England 31, Scotland 19.
Yeah, I don't think we can quite, even with the pictures that you see, and get across how kind of miserable these conditions are. And we did talk about just before half-time the sense that Scotland needed to get some points in order to stay within it at half-time and feel like, you know, if they come out fighting, because we've seen they can take chances, they've just got to find the territory, keep the possession, and they're making breaks, and they are threatening to England. But they're in this. They've got a real opportunity in the second half.
Well then, it is rainy here. Myself and Abby Ward, we're going to have a sip on a nice hot drink. I hope that both teams are going to do that inside of the changing rooms as well. Let's hope the hot water's working later as well. I'm sure it is. We're at Kingston Park, of course it is. But it's been a big day here in the Northeast. There was a big match a little bit earlier. Let's find out what happened. Or we'll find out a little bit later. But of course it is the Six Nations. So let's find out all about it. Okay, there you go. So the first match is over. It was a sellout against Scotland. That is, of course, next weekend at Northampton. You can see England taking on Italy, that one at Franklin's Gardens, and then the big one against France at Twickenham on the 29th of April. Over 40,000 tickets sold so far. How big is that number going to get? You can get your tickets at englandrugby.com right now.
Tickets available to purchase.
Right then, let's take a look at the first half highlights from the game we've just seen, the England under-20s against Scotland Futures. Plenty of tries, and this was Dale's first attempt to go over.
Yeah, we've spoken about how clinical they've been. I'm such a fan of the patience that they've shown at Maul time. But Scotland are going to have to come up with some answers to this, because they've gone across the line time and time again.
Yeah, we saw a lot of these kind of tries as well a little bit earlier for England women against Scotland, and whatever England can do, the England in the under-20s can do as well, as Duffy just made that break, and this was an incredible run there by Maisie Allen of Exeter. Such strength. She's a real bright spark at 7.
Yeah, she's a player that a lot of people have been talking about. Lots of people have been, you know, questioning, why isn't she in a Red Roses shirt? Why isn't she playing in the Six Nations or being in and around that squad? You know, she's one of the top try scorers in the Premier 15s, and you've just seen from that how that happens, and she's got great pace and great physicality.
Well, this was the first try for Scotland through DMP's Evie Tonkin. She was the one that just gave them that little spark to build their way back into the fixture when England thought they could just make a bit of headway.
And I'd love to see them get the ball to the back three a little bit more. I know it's tough conditions, but what I love about Evie is she's got such a balance between pace, but then physicality as well.
And this was at Neve Orchard's try. It took a while here. They took a few attempts to pound away at the line before they eventually got over. Patience eventually, wasn't on that occasion.
Yeah, you can see the forwards grafting away, but what I like in the background is the way that the 9 and the 10 are controlling things.
And that was the one when they finally got it down.
It's probably a great example, isn't it, when you talk about piano players and piano pushers, and this was one for the piano pushers.
Can you play piano?
Absolutely not.
Struck me as someone who must have played an instrument somewhere in their youth.
Clarinet.
There we go. Oh, and that was the brilliant try there by Roma Fraser. She was playing an absolute tune, and she actually went and dotted that one down.
Yeah, Fran Goldthorpe is no slouch either, so to have that pace to finish it from there is, yeah, it's great to see. It's something I can always admire as a second row, seeing the backs light up the pitch.
She pinned her ears back and she went. So this was Amy Dale's second.
Still moving forward from here.
Again, strong work from the forwards, and it was a real power through at the end there by Amy Dale. I'm assured also, talking of music, that apparently she loves a bit of disco music, Amy Dale. No comment to that at all. None whatsoever. She's a very good rugby player as well. Let's stick to that.
Their own, each to their own.
Well, there we go. Final try of the half there of Grace Clifford, but this was how the half ended. Isabella Hannay going over.
That's what you want from a 7, isn't it? Sniffing out those opportunities.
Well, that was the first half between England under-20s and Scotland futures. 31-17 to England, but as I said, there was some rugby played here a little bit earlier today. Quite the test match. Some people called it England-Scotland, everyone else called it the Sarah Hunter leaving party. Let's find out what happened. Poppy Cleal, she doesn't care how many people she runs into. 1 metre short. Aitchison. Reed back inside to McDonald! The first try of England's Six Nations campaign. Cleal. Support from Aldcroft. They were trying to just disguise slightly where that ball was going. Packer! Well, she knew to get that ball back. She didn't quite have the strength to go over. Reed passed out wide. Amy Cockayne! Tuima, breach, McDonald. Does she fancy this? A nice step back. Oh, that's lovely by Claudia McDonald. Can she finish? She's being hunted down, but it doesn't matter. McDonald over for her second. Cleal popped off to Packer. 6 metres left to travel. England hunting down a 4th try at Kingston Park. Here comes Tatiana Hurd. That's her first try for the Red Roses. More. Here it comes. The heave from the Kingston Park crowd as the machine that has done England so well in many years drives towards the Scotland line. If you can't see the ball, I will tell you right now, Amy Cockayne will have it. There it is, it's just peeking out there. And it goes, and it goes, and it's down. England have 5, Cockayne has 2. And if you are an England fan, you will be very happy watching this. Huge run by Poppy Cleal. Oh, hello, Poppy Cleal. Hurd, nice pass away to Dow. Still Abby Dow. Pass then in the end. Look at the strength from Sadia Kabaya. More. Here comes the heave. Well, the cogs are turning. It's well oiled. It's still moving. It's close. It's over. It's Marley Packer who scores it. 8 tries. They're coming from everywhere. Sarah Hunter's rugby career is over. Kingston Park rises, English rugby rises, the whole rugby family rises to recognise one of the greats. 16 years, 141 caps. Sarah Hunter, thank you.
More. Over.
That has been given, and it's Packer again.
Over. Yeah, access.
Well, they're a player down, but does it matter? Nope. That is a hat-trick for Marley Packer in the second half. I think she has scored that hat-trick in less than 10 minutes. Scotland still have it. Big hits going in this time on Ellie Clark. Goes towards the far side, still going through Rolly, still Chloe Rolly, Scotland will score! They finally find space. It's taken 74 minutes, but that will give them something to build from. Well, it's an England victory. They are back to winning ways. In the end, they managed to go for 10 tries. Scotland turned up late. But it was all about one woman in the end. She's not on the field right now. It was a day for Sarah Hunter. But it's now Marley Packer's England for the rest of this Six Nations. Well, there you go. That was how it finished a little bit earlier today. Abby Ward, you were here for that fixture. We'll talk about Sarah Hunter in a moment, but first of all, the game itself. 2 sort of purple matches for Scotland. The first right at the beginning of the match, and then the second just there at the end. It was just a little bit disappointing for them, the sort of 60 in the middle.
Yeah, I think the first 10-15 minutes was a great contest, wasn't it? And I think England really had to grind them down and you know, keep patient, and they did so, and then they really got into their stride. I think particularly with this England side, there being new players in the mix, new combinations, that was always going to be the case. I think Scotland, they did show that they've got threats. They showed that, you know, Chloe Rolly, I love watching her as a player. I get, you know, excited watching her play for Scotland, watching her play in the Prem, when I played alongside her at Harlequins. And I think, you know, bring players like that into the game more. Let them, you know, come alive, because when they do, they're finding gaps in defences, they're making meters. But like you said, there were a couple of purple patches, but they've shown that they can break down defences.
And I said we talk about Sarah Hunter. If anyone wants to find out more about her, I really would urge you to go to England Rugby's YouTube pages and watch the tribute to her, because it's a beautiful thing. But for you, you said earlier, she's not just your teammate, she's one of your best mates. It's been a hugely emotional day.
Yeah, it's been massive, and you know, when she told us, I was gutted selfishly, because I just love playing with her, love having her as my roommate, you know, as my mate in camp. We've been roommates for what, 7 years or something. But so proud of everything that she's done, you know, as a teammate, as a friend, everything that she's contributed, and just so thankful for what she's done for the game.
Well, there you go. Sarah Hunter bowing out in style. She played pretty brilliantly, I have to say, as well today, so she was definitely going out on top.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the Six Nations, it will be Marley Packer in charge of England. And I can tell you for free, she will be a slightly different captain to the way that Sarah Hunter went about her business. It's not a bad thing, it's just a different thing.
She will be, but they're both players that lead by example, by their actions and what they do. And although sometimes their actions are slightly different, they set the very highest standards.
Back underway then between the England under-20s and Scotland futures. It was Lizzie Duffy who got us back underway, as Scotland try and look to battle their way back up the scoreboard. Change already for Scotland. I know
Kingston got back up.
Eve Thompson is now on the field. Big bruising run for them as England just try and once again push them back.
Replacement for Scotland.
See Grace Clifford there just really pushing. You could see that it was Logan there who managed to eventually secure the ball. Comes back towards the near side. Good take in the air by Tonkin, who got a try in the first half. England get the ball back. Sellers, Allen. Tori Sellers again, one of the players from University of Worcester.
Advantage.
Penalty advantage then for England, a free shot. What have they got for it? Clifford. Ball gets spun back. Duffy decides to go on her own in the end, but that's really nicely read there by the Scottish defensive line.
Sorry.
This is taking a while for either side to break the other down. A little bit of porridge going on from both sides as it goes wide, and in the end it gets knocked on by Hendy in the middle, but the penalty advantage is still England's.
And I wonder what they'll do here.
I just don't know. They're not going to surprise us. Well, there we go.
This will be interesting, though, because Scotland have to have addressed this at half-time. So will they do anything different? How will they front up to this maul that they know is inevitably coming?
Just east to west, okay.
So a few tries from this exact position down at the other end of the field in the first half, as Abby Ward alongside me there was just alluding to.
Okay, back 10 then.
Amy Dale has already got 2. They're a little bit further out now. About 12 metres to travel to get to the try line.
Just a knock
There was
on.
a Scottish hand on that, knocked on by Scotland. They'll come back then for the scrum.
They got up well. They read that, the timing from the hooker. I would have loved to see her take that with both hands, because I think she had the opportunity, and instead it's a knock-on, which is frustrating for Scotland.
Lots of people still here in the stand watching this at Kingston Park. I know on your screens you're watching on the far side of the field, but that's not where all the covers are. There's plenty of friends and family here.
Square, square.
They are keeping in the dry, though. The rain has slightly eased in this second half, but it will be incredibly damp underfoot.
Set!
Free kick then for Scotland, they'll take that. Clark quickly goes and gathers the ball.
Far side through the mark.
Well, the warnings went there to England. An interesting decision there by Scotland. They're not trying to kick that one out. They've decided to run it from deep inside their 22. As we get to see a little bit of a run in there by Fraser. I mean, Carla McDonald, who's playing at 10,
She's got the ball.
She does have a boot on her. Times it could do with a little bit of direction as England get the turnover, but as soon as they get the turnover, Duffy was not expecting that at all. I like that little bit of a coaching there as well. Good turnover, but knock on. Thanks, ref.
Yeah, again, you go back to the game management from Scotland there. Free kick. You would think in that area, in these conditions, get it along, you know. Let's kick it, let's not play in the 22. They tried to play in the 22 earlier, they forced an offload, and again they ended up giving away possession, and we're in a similar scenario here.
All good.
Okay, so Nicole White of Quins, or White, I should say, comes on. She's going to pack down straight away.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Stable.
Oh, that's really got a nudge on it from England. A little bit knock on at the back there by Freya Walker. Referee happy that it is backwards.
Anything? Yeah, cheers, mate.
But it's been called in the end, and so they scrum down for an England ball again. And just the pressure, you have to say, that the English pack is operating at a very high standard.
Yeah, absolutely, and we probably didn't actually highlight it enough, that turnover from Negrelli
closer on
earlier.
that
What I
gap,
liked
far
about it
side,
is she
please.
was listening to the referee, and he's saying, well, she's lifted it, she's got the ball, play on. So yeah, really, really smart thinking, and just being able to hold that position over the breakdown, be strong, get the lift on the ball. Again, it's what you want to see, isn't it?
There's Isabella Hannay there,
Set.
ready to put everything that she can into that shoulder. I think they're just going to reset that.
Both on this side, we need to start square, both of you.
Well, they just need to get that a little bit more stable before any ball actually gets in. I did tell you a little bit earlier that the Premier 15s is on hold at the moment. Getting back underway on the 13th of May. Semi-finals Saturday, 10th of June. Final is going to be at Kingston in Gloucester. That one on Saturday, the 24th of June.
Yeah, and whilst the Premiership's on hold, obviously we have the Cup games, and that again is a great opportunity for these players to showcase what they've got. Whilst, you know, other internationals are away, more senior players are away, massive opportunity for players that are here tonight playing in the under-20s to step up.
There's also going to be an under-18 Six Nations Festival. That's going to be going on from the 7th to the 15th of April. It's at Wellington College in England.
So good to see competitions like that, and I would actually really like to see an under-20s Women's Six Nations. We've got to make it happen, haven't we? Because it's happening for the men, and it is that pathway, it's that feeder, it's that, you know, that opportunity for the girls to get a taste of what it's like and that experience.
I'll put in some calls when I get off, yeah? We've been told it is in the pipeline. Just don't quite know when they're going to be given the green light that it's officially going to start. All the different unions are in different places still at the moment with their programmes. Ball comes away at the base there by Walker. They pushed out towards the far side. A few questions at the moment how Scotland are exiting from their own half as it's taken on by Kieran Bell, University of Edinburgh winger. Clark brings it back towards the middle of the field as they know they're running out of turf. More forwards, doing some heavy lifting. This time it's Logan. Clark looks again, Simpson. This is hard work from Scotland. Have they got numbers on the near side? Could have been a little bit forward there as they tried to get the ball in the end to Fimster. But it's gone out of play and they'll take the touch in play.
Yeah, what a shot that was.
And I think one of the Scotland players has just hurt herself as she's gone to ground there, Fimster.
Yeah, I admire the bravery of Scotland trying to play out, but this is just not the day for it. They've got to find territory, haven't they? And I don't know whether maybe they don't trust their kicking game. Or the players that are on the pitch, whether, you know, they've got the right combinations, but I think playing out isn't working for them. Put the ball down in England's 22 and put the pressure on defensively.
Ball goes straight into touch, we're going to land on everybody, aren't we?
Well, for quite a few years, the sort of discussions when we talk about exiting, which is basically getting out of your end of the field. We talked a lot about Wales for many years, about how they just couldn't get the ball away and they're having to work so much inside of their own half. And that's it. It's all about conserving energy and putting it in at the right end of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. But even the kicks to touch haven't been, you know, up to standard of what they'd want. They haven't been able to make touch. So if your only option is to play, it's going to be a tough, long day, isn't it?
Fimster good to carry on. She's made a stern stuff.
Replacement for Scotland finishes leading the field, number 10, Carla McDonald.
Change then at fly half. Carla McDonald is making her way off the field.
Five. Good. Okay, time on, please. Are you in or out?
Okay, ball comes in from England. Push forward by Hendy again. Ooh, she almost flew into the area she was working forward and lifted by the Scottish player. Placed back by Allen.
Stay.
They decide to switch back towards the middle of the field, running forward through Wythe. Still Wythe. Spun ball. Nice little work there on the ball there by Duffy. It's those nice touches. Makes you see why she is in that main England squad. Will she get her chance? Catherine Wells. Big Worcester prop flying forward. Duffy looks up. Support coming in from Whitley. Pushing out once again. Just slightly stretching Scotland. England players arrive, but Scottish players there trying to slow it down. Duffy on the ball. Duffy going herself. And Duffy goes over. First score of the second half. Taken a bit longer this time for the England under-20s. But Duffy saw space out wide, and then she did a nice arc back inside.
Yeah, well-deserved try, because that's the thing what she's been doing. What she's been doing is drawing defenders every time and putting other people through holes. Suddenly, the defenders are thinking, oh, she's going to put someone else through a hole, so they start looking at the runners, and then it just opened up for her. She saw, you know, half a yard, took the gap, and then straight in. Half a pump just opens up that space for her.
It really does, and she's done that quite a few times when she's on the ball, either when she's looking to change her direction of run, whether she's looking to throw the dummy, or if she's just trying to make sure that she secures the player and locks them in.
Yeah. I would have liked to see her maybe attempt to get a little bit further under the post, but she's only making it harder work for herself.
Maybe she just likes the challenge.
Apparently so.
Oh, look at that, some passionate fans there for England, supporting them. You're on the big screen. Give us a wave. There we go. Yeah, that's you. That is you.
15. 15.
Yep. You are on the internet right now. Oh, what a great England fan she is too. Future Red Rose right there.
Time on, please, Susie.
Right, and a bit of rugby to get underway. So it was Katie Ainsworth who came on, who slipped into that fly half position now. You can also see out there Sophie Langford on the field as well for the England under-20s.
Tackle now. Step.
That was Emma Campbell with a really nice take. That's an area that, you know,
England in
they
front.
would have wanted to clean up from the first half.
Well, this is a problem for England. Third penalty now for running in front of the kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every time that they seem to, you know,
the
score another try, Scotland seem to be able to hang on by getting some points back. So what England need to do is, you know, back one thing up with another. Don't give Scotland that opportunity to keep themselves in the game.
Katie Ainsworth plays a rugby for Stirling County. Giving them a nice little touch
England,
there inside of the England 22.
Okay, Scotland in the line, please. Right. Scotland, you in the line. You're not running in. England, you hold the line.
Right, waiting for the ball to come in, this time by Simpson. Nice running on the ball then by Stewart. This is better from Scotland, working round the corners. Oh, really great stuff coming in there by Bell.
Fine, good
Not
play.
quite enough firepower to go the whole way. Push back towards the middle of the field. The pass is raining in this time by Ainsworth. Spun out ball once again. Ainsworth just directing traffic still. Good straight lines from the forwards. They're going to keep pushing towards that right wing, and that was just the knock on there on the floor.
Yep. Yep.
Well, we're told there's going to be a full
sub.
front row change
One,
for
two,
England. There's going to be a couple
sub.
of changes
Right.
here for Scotland as well. So Wellsdale and Clifford are coming off for England. I can see also Poppy Fletcher coming off for Scotland as well. Coming on in her place, I think, is Katie Lindsay.
There's our mark.
What's nice is obviously we saw Tonkin and Fraser have a run with the ball in the first half, but now to see Bell put in a couple of nice runs this half, you know, just showing and backing up that, yes, I'm another member of the back three that can do just as much.
Bind. Set. Keep it up, keep it up.
Well, new front row for England. They've just about managed to hold on to that ball as they're trying to clear themselves out of trouble now. Great tackles raining in here by Scotland. The choke tackle being used. It does eventually go down to ground. And Scotland worked for that and they got it. England have got to be careful here. Not getting the rub of the green as the rumble comes forward by Katie Lindsay. Ainsworth, she's got support, more players raining in. McIntyre also in the mix, Fraser.
Not.
Clark comes away with it.
Tackle!
Scotland need to just hold their heads here. They've got a great position, Ainsworth again.
Tripped over your own player. But thank you, good work.
Well, the referee just encouraging the players there as it does get spun out to that far channel. Right, they're going to have to come back towards the middle of the park. And the problem here for Scotland is, yes, plenty of phases being racked up here, but they're going backwards.
Or forward.
That's Hannay, and here come England again. All that effort. They're just trying to look for options there, Goldthorpe. She almost sort of spun round, trying to see if anyone was there, realised she needed to bide her time for the support. Once again, we get to see a huge hit coming in there on wide, but Scotland have it back. Here we go. Getting a bit tasty out there now. Tit for tat, and Hannay made that. Scotland think about going quickly, and they do through Clark, pushing towards the near side once again. This is exhausting. There's still a misty rain out there coming down here at Kingston Park as these two sides are now going hammer and tongs.
Okay, she got back to her feet.
No scrum half. Support comes in by Stewart in the end. Turner on the floor, Clark arrives. Big calls for it, this time by Lindsay. And this is Scotland's problem. They are just not getting over that gain line. They do some really magical things, but they just can't get past that white wall of defence.
Okay, we're not taking this one.
Playing advantage to
You see a
Scotland.
wrap there, mate?
And they're nearly all the way back to the halfway line, so they're going to come back. And is the ref going to have a word here? Let's listen in.
Captain. So it's going to be a penalty to blue. I just need to have a word with captain. Okay. So we now have 12. Back chat to be twice in this game. Okay, that is unacceptable. Okay, have a word with her. Number of penalties in this area now are increasing against you. Okay, you need to deal with that team discipline, otherwise people leave the field. Yes. Yeah.
Well, the warning has gone there to England. You feel it has been coming, but Scotland in this attack, they've got problems.
Yeah, I think Phillips will be having a knuckles wrap there for back chat. Again, the defence has been great from England. Scotland haven't been able to make ground. Where they're making ground is by penalties, which England are giving them. I think that first one, Scotland held it up. It should have been their scrum. It got changed immediately into a penalty, I assume, for back chat. And again, it's dull things like getting in the way of the 9. Just stay out of that channel, because again, it's another penalty, and now they're being warned, and it just puts Scotland back into it where they weren't making any ground defensively.
Okay, we good? Deliver the message.
Sorry, they weren't making any ground because England's defence
Offside
was so
number
strong.
25. Eight white. 8.
Right, then a few more changes coming on then. It might feel like there are a lot of changes, but then they can make them.
Wait.
So Gabriella Negrelli is going off. Coming on in her place is Kendall Wardbury of Loughborough.
Okay, let's go. Scotland, don't close your own gap, please.
Not that you're biased in any way, but nice to see a Bristol player going well there through Negrelli.
Yeah, always nice to see. And like I said, because she has, you know, had a bit of time out through injuries, it's great to see her back. You know, her form is flying, getting that confidence, and hopefully she can bring that straight back into the Bristol Bear side.
Step.
We'll talk about where Bristol are on the Premier 15s table in the moment as we do look how
We're on.
England will exit from this position. Duffy sends it down. Ball's been spun back then to the Scotland backs. This time on the ball is McIntyre. She is also in the Scotland squad for this Six Nations. She actually played in the Bucks final with University of Edinburgh, so she's really building up her portfolio right now.
Ball's clearly lifted.
Just getting a bit scrappy out there at the moment. Scotland need to find a little bit of shape. Huge take! Oh, what a beauty from Maisie Allen! Someone's got to track her down. I think she's going to finish this off. Oh, take a bow, Maisie Allen. That was an absolute beaut.
Her meters tonight must be off the record. She reads the game so well, which is exactly what you want from a 7. But she could see that pass come in, and where others might, you know, wait for the tackle, she's in there, pinching it out of the air, and being able to finish a try like that. What's that, another 40 metres running in?
That's their seventh try.
But a 40-metre run in.
Incredible. Yeah. Absolutely incredible. Long, long run. And you were saying earlier, a lot of people are calling for her to be in a Red Roses shirt. The problem is they've already got 2 7s playing for England at the moment.
Yeah, she's...
it's a busy position.
She's a quality player, but like you said, what a problem to have as well. It's not really a problem, is it? To have the quality of players in that shirt. It's exciting. It's
really exciting.
The future of the number 7, I think, is in pretty good hands at the minute, isn't it?
Lizzie Duffy has got a very distinctive routine when she takes these kicks. Most kickers do. She's got a lovely style, and she's got some lovely skills as well. She'll be happy with her afternoon's work as England start closing in now on 50. And this scoreline for Scotland will just start to be a little bit worrying, but let's just marvel in this moment one more time. Great take there, beautifully read by Exeter's Maisie Allen.
Okay.
Right, restart then. And a real force, I have to say, there.
Nicola offside lines.
White there.
Lost forward by England.
That one's just dribbled forward in the contact, so Scotland have it through Bell on the far side, but I think they'll come back and try and tidy it up.
Again, it's frustrating to see another restart being allowed to bounce, but they make up for it because they're so good at ball carrying. They get the leg drive on, and they're making meters. But if Scotland can get up there and disrupt like they did in the first half, you know, that's probably the one area that England really need to clean up.
9.
More changes here, this time for England. And you just saw a great run there by Nicola White, the twins forward. Really made an impression since she's been on the field.
She's looked so strong, hasn't she, in the contact, bouncing defenders.
Does it scare you slightly when you think about some of these players that we're talking about and we're saying they're under 20s?
Yeah, absolutely.
It really does.
Particularly, you know, they are playing with us week in, week out, and yeah, it's crazy, the ability coming through, the athleticism, but also I think the rugby brains on them as well.
Step.
Little bit of switch of direction there. Waiting out on the far side.
Move.
England thought they could see a little bit of daylight, not to be on this occasion. Oh, she's an absolute battering ram wide. Really got a very solid rugby brain on her shoulders.
I don't think she actually needs a rugby brain, just tell her to carry.
Ball back once again. Good contact coming in by Niamh Williams. She's had a bit of support on the messages coming in for us as well. This time it's Baverstock. McGilvery, she's just been standing in that first receiver position quite a few times in this fixture. Happy to give England options. This time we get to see a touch on the boy through else. Still English ball. This is a little bit stodgy from them, but compared to when Scotland do this, and there is a player down on the field, And the referee is going to stop that. I think it's Amy Johnston who's down at the moment, who's going to receive a little bit of treatment. So we'll let her get everything that she needs. And there we go. There are the biggest fans here at Kingston Park here today.
Okay.
Yes, hello. We're back to see you once again. And this is what it's all about, is making sure that everyone gets a chance to have their moment. And a lot of people, some of these people who've come here today, they've actually hung on from the last game as well. So I hope everyone out there is not too cold. Have you seen these massive pint jugs some people have got?
9-11 sub, 9-11.
Yeah, they're quite impressive, aren't they?
Enormous.
I actually used to pull pints here at Kingston Park.
Did
at the
you?
Rugby games. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's do all the important discussions right now. How long did you do that for?
Well, I was at university here, so I actually played up here for about 6 years. This used to be my old stomping ground, so you know, whenever there was a Falcons game and they needed someone, I'd be there in the concourse pulling the 2-pinters of Guinness.
Why do I not know this? Why do I not know this? Okay. But this isn't actually where you're from, is it, Abby?
No, I'm from the West.
That's what I thought, yes. And did you then, when you were up here, did you just play at the uni? Did you get at all involved in Novos as well?
So I was playing at the University at Northumbria and also DMP, so I was at Sharks for 6 years, and loved this area and the fans around here. There's such rugby passion, and you know, it's a great place to be. Definitely, anyone that hasn't been up to Newcastle, come up to Newcastle and watch a game of rugby. Get out into the city. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, plenty of rugby up here as Amy Johnston makes her way off the field. We hope that she's going to be okay. She took quite a whack, and hope she's going to be okay. But coming back onto the field then is Molly Pullman of Watsonians. So she probably thought that her day was over, but not to be on this occasion. Now, I don't normally talk about things like this when I'm commentating, but I'm going to let you on a secret. You've got a special delivery coming.
Yeah.
It is a delivery from the Bristol head coach. I think it's a hot chocolate. It's a hot chocolate. How did you get your coach to deliver you a hot chocolate? That's excellent work.
He's got to look after his star player, hasn't he?
Well, there you go. Right then. Thank you, Dave Ward, who is also Abby Ward's husband. Right then. Rugby carrying on. Picked up ball in the end by England, powered forward this time by Buchanan. New scrum half onto the field as well for England.
Stay down,
They
8.
push forward,
Good work.
Spun it out once again. Duffy is there. Neve Williams has carried a lot of ball since she came onto the field. As we get to see Lucy Weaver just pushing around the pack, making sure everyone's in the place that she wants them. Lucy Hurrier is there as well now. When England have attacks in these close quarters, they can just get over the game line on each occasion. You can see the direction they're going. It's just what Scotland haven't quite managed to achieve when they've had that time on the ball. They tried to go through the guts of the park there.
The tip on is forward, knock on.
So we're going to restart then. It's going to be a scrum for Scotland. A little bit of a get out of jail card, but I say get out of jail, they've got to exit, and this is a problem.
Yeah, their exiting hasn't been what they would have wanted. But, you know, that being said, we've spoken a lot about individual players. This game as a whole, I've been really impressed with the quality, and I've been really impressed with the balance as well. The interplay between the forwards and the backs, the set piece, but then also the ability to play in these conditions. I think overall, as the under-20s futures game, you know, I've been really impressed with it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And especially the conditions that have been thrown at them as well.
Get your elbow
This
up.
is a high standard fixture between these two sides. And England did have a little bit of a talking to. They have had a few moments. They kept on being offside when the ball has been kicked down. They have seemed to have just about closed that out for the last sort of 15 minutes or so.
Set.
Ball comes in then by Rachel Law. Managed to gather at the base and they work out the back. We weren't expecting a kick there.
Release. Fine.
What the futures need to find is a big boot. Oh, that's going to be taken by England. They've won that one. Wasteful from Scotland. Wide once again. Support in the shoulder again by the happy carrier Williams. Weaver finds Duffy. Nice to find Hurriot. Advantage there. That's a really good steal by Scotland. There's another player down, and it's a real shame, I have to say. The woman who's gone down, I think, is Neve Williams, and she has carried a lot of balls since she's come on.
She has. She's been another player that's been impressive. I mean,
6 and 7.
they pretty much all have, haven't they? They're all sharing the work, but she's made some great carries. So hopefully nothing too serious. She's just with the physios now. I did wonder with Scotland making changes with a new 10 on, whether that might help their exiting game. But again, they've looked to carry, and it's proving tough, isn't it?
I appreciate this is not your problem to have in any way, Abby, but how much would it help if there is a young boy or girl watching this game, and the particular issue we're highlighting here with Scotland, that they can't exit. When it comes to, you want to be a rugby player, get out there. It doesn't matter if it's a football, if it's a rugby ball, just learn not just to pass it, but kick it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And
get comfortable.
I'm a big believer that especially young players, they should be practicing the whole skill set. You know, don't worry about getting into a certain position too early. You look at a lot of the Red Roses, players like Amy Cockayne, she's happy kicking, you know, passing, running.
Oh, big, strong run there coming in by Hurriot.
Fine, the ball's up, you won the ball.
Somehow England have just about managed to hold on to that. They're really having to shove these Scotland players off the top. Weaver goes in and gathers. They're playing at really tight angles now as they power towards that line. Wardby there. Still big carry. Oh! Brilliant stuff. Gone over from Neve Williams. She's recovered. She's done well. And she is looking good in an England shirt as well. And Scotland have not fired a shot yet in this second half.
Yeah, I think she just needed a couple of minutes break, didn't she?
Yes.
And then back to a strong carry and getting over the line.
Of course, Neve Clifford, she's playing for Wasps, and it has been such a tough season for Wasps this season with everything that has gone on with them. They haven't got a place in the Premier 16s for the next cycle, but still a player, young like her, just showing such promise. Hopefully something for Wasps fans to smile about. I think they're just still checking out Neve that she's going to be okay. We have got another England player who's just down there, but Lizzie Duffy is still okay to take this kick. Calm from Duffy. She's really proving herself to be quite the player. This was the try then. Just a simple game when you can just work those hard yards and power over. And the England player is just receiving a bit of treatment at the moment is Lucy Hurriot, and I think she's actually going to make her way off the field. Could be frustrating for her.
Okay, we're good to go.
But a good night's work so far for Neve Williams. England working out on the far side, this time through Else. Weaver.
Stay, good.
Duffy.
19, stop.
Nice little touch over the top. Needs someone to chase it. Oh, hello. That was nice. That's almost showing off, but I like it. Taken forward this time by Swales. She's managed to get the ball away.
She's in a good position. You've changed your body shape. Holding on.
Holding on the floor eventually by England. It was all a bit too cute for a while.
17.
It was nice, wasn't it? It was nice, and I think we spoke before half-time about Scotland needing that try to stay in the game, but I think England are really showing their class in this second half. And I like to see them being experimental, being expressive, playing, you know, getting into that chip space, and to be able to take that regather like she has done is unbelievable. That's putting your body on the line, isn't it?
Crazy techers.
You don't always see that from a 10.
Oh, right,
no.
And who else?
She's young.
14.
She'll change.
14. 14, blue.
She hasn't learned that from Katie.
Katie Daly-McLean will take her under her wing and say, you don't need to do that.
No? Just hold it there,
It does
please, John.
look good,
Jet,
though.
time's
And I'd
off, time's
say
off.
Lizzie Duffy will be very impressed with her night's work by the end of this. I think
Yeah,
they're
I
waiting
would
for a
find
few
that
more
out.
subs to come on. I'm impressed there is any left.
Replacement for Scotland
Okay.
features leading the
And
field.
whilst
So what's
they are,
happening?
I just love the organisation that's going on in the back line. You've got the fullback talking to the 12, speaking to the players either
So
side,
she's
just
got a card for
constantly looking
14.
at what's going to happen, how's the game develop, how can they, you know, impress their defence upon Scotland.
So I need a new card, but it's just the one change. 14 staying on the
14 staying on.
Well, they're just sorting
And
out in the
2's on.
technical
So
area
already's gone.
what is going
Okay.
on.
I mean, at the minute, you
Okay,
might
hold
argue that
your
they don't
line,
even
just
need a
wait for me to put
backfield.
time on.
That's true.
Okay, time on, please, Susie.
It is hard for the fourth official today with the amount of subs that there are coming on and off the field, rolling subs as well. So it is fair as they just knock on at the back there.
Look on my 9.
Frustration there for Law.
Yeah.
Injury replacement.
Just managed to walk away from that one, try and forget that it happened after.
Make sure we're hooking
Forwards
the
have done the
ball.
hard
Okay, you see
work.
that foot come off the
Bit
floor,
of a difficult take, a little bit in front of her, not quite into her breadbasket.
9. Credible feed, please.
I spoke a little bit earlier about the positions in the Premier 15s. Bristol currently holding on to fourth place at the moment. Confident that they're going to be holding to that?
No, absolutely.
Set!
No, we talk about the Prem every year being more and more competitive, and it absolutely is. It's so nice to see, you know, more teams in the mix. The likes of Gloucester Hartbury, they've been phenomenal this year, haven't they? Exeter just keep on building.
Oh, what a run coming here. Who's got some gas? Is it April? Is she? Yes, it is. That was a nice run. It wasn't straight, didn't need to be. It was a big arc, but that is try number 9. In the end, dotting down in the corner, all the hard work done by DMP's April Ishida.
Making it look so easy.
It's really not, is it? This was the move then. They came away with it. And that last pass, pinpoint, and then just gas.
Yeah, I just like how it's so simple, but it's about executing and being accurate. And when you can finish like that, it's fantastic, isn't it? There was nothing complicated. It's about executing the set piece, running the right lines, keeping the depth so that you still can bring players into play, and then, like you said, that last pass from Ren, pinpoint.
Right boot to Duffy has been good. Continues to be, as well as England just start approaching that 60-point mark. Scotland have not scored anything now since the end of the first half. It has been a complete England performance in this second half so far. Can they keep them to 0 in this second period?
Okay. Try and get that gap, okay? Try not to get in your way. When you're ready.
Restart then by Ainsworth. Manages to get over into the England 22. Popped off ball by Langford. Manages to get a bit more forward power. Weaver pushes it back to
Ball in
Duffy.
front, stop!
She's under a little bit of pressure to get that one away. Nice bit of footwork. Love a goose step coming in. Gets absolutely smashed for her efforts as the arrival of Els comes. Big handoff coming in there by
Move.
Pullman.
Ball's clearly available.
There we go. Walker.
Advantage, number 16.
Yeah, referee spotted that one. Advantage then to Scotland.
16, make a wrap, please.
It was the warning there against Niamh Swell. She's got to make sure she is good on those tackles.
No arms.
Well, they push towards this near side. That's a better kick from Scotland.
Yeah, and it's probably the first
Maybe.
penalty in a while that they've actually gone
We
to
had a
touch
warning
rather than
earlier.
tapping. So
16 just done
yeah,
something
I
very
think that's
stupid.
the right play
We're
to
back on the
make.
warning.
When you were coming up through the ranks, did you play a bit of under-20s on the way?
No arms hit.
Yeah, I played under 20s. I actually, which probably a lot of people
Fine.
know, I tried to play for Scotland before England.
Wasn't going to mention that.
They never replied to me.
Well,
Fine, play
Mark,
on.
check your emails is what I'd say. Go and find that email from young
Send out
Abby
22.
Scott. Well, Lizzie Duffy, she's not
Plenty
perfect.
advantage.
I think
Still plenty.
most
Strong
people are
advantage.
allowed 1 or 2 mistakes per game.
I think one of my first
She's
under
good.
20s
She's
caps
going knock on.
was against Scotland, and it was up in Newcastle, just down the road actually.
Cheers, mate.
And I love that these games are played, you know, where we can get the fans from both sides here. I think it's great that they're playing against Scotland up in Newcastle.
7.
Yeah, the Scotland players from the earlier game, they were saying how nice it was that they were able to have a short coach journey to an away game. And actually a lot of the England players had to travel a lot further than they
Inside
did.
Scotland
Yeah,
half,
there's
right?
a lot of stubborn English players, so I think they feel like this is a bit more of an away game. But I like to remind them that,
We good?
you know, this is
Let's
still
go.
England.
Well, Amy Dale has come back on for a little bit more. 2 tries in that first half. Is she going to go and try and finish the job
go,
for the
England.
hat-trick? We're closing in now in the last 4 minutes.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
That scrum is moving backwards. Law's digging and digging, but the penalty's given. Back they go, Scotland.
Standing
Once
up, under
again,
pressure.
Duffy says thank you.
Mark's here.
Let's move this.
Standing up.
It's a 5th under-20s cap,
Collapse.
Lizzie Duffy here today.
Yeah, she's one of the more experienced players in the under-20s, and I think that shows just how she manages the game. Both her
There's
and
your
Maisie
mark.
Allen, I think they've been perfect co-captains today.
England, let's go.
I have to say, I did speak to Katie Daly-McLean a little bit
10,
earlier about
10.
Lizzie Duffy, and I said, what can you tell
Okay,
me
you
about
in
her?
or
You know,
out?
give me some little
Say 10
nuggets.
then,
And
please.
the thing that she gave me was she's a dreadful dancer. Not quite what I was looking for.
Right, but again, I don't know how Katie...
Oh, look at this, still flying away. That was
No, you
Wardby.
haven't released the ball. You've gone and gone again.
No,
19.
penalty for Scotland then.
That must be so frustrating.
Extra roll on the floor.
Ball being pushed towards the far side then by Ainsworth. Does just find a touch, but this is the issue. That touch is useless to Scotland. They're still stuck at the
There
wrong
you
end
are.
of the field, and they've got a line out now where unless they kick it away and manage to make a few more metres, they're stuck in the place where they got the penalty in the first place.
5 called.
They've managed to
Inside
hold
5.
it. No more
Okay,
coming
England step.
because Turner had to take it down to the floor. And this
All in
needs
front.
the clearance,
Stop,
and England
stop.
are right up in their faces. It's
Good
not
now.
going to find touch. No, 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 no. Here comes Bonner.
Not on the ball. No.
Weaver. Got support on her shoulder through Els. It's still Els going.
Varnish for the 20. Too slow.
There we go. Duffy, little bit of a dummy. Push out the bar. She's going to go in for a second. It's Ishida. She's over for her second. She scored the last one. And as we close in on the match, England have been absolutely rampant in this second half.
That was such a nicely worked try. Again, this is where Duffy just seems to have so much time on the ball. Getting it out to where the space is and being able to finish off another try. love is that none of this is complicated. It's really simple, but it's just executed really, really well.
No, the skill sets have been high. April Ashida there. She actually represented England schools at hurdles, and you can tell she has got the power in those legs. She has got some sprint in her. Well, this is one of the more difficult ones that Duffy has had. Well, that one's got distance on it, and it's got direction. I mean, what a performance. I mean, we're not giving a player of the match today, but who would it be, Abby Ward?
I think there's been, you know, some standout performances. You know, on the Scottish side, I think the back three have been great. I'd also like to give a little nod to Hannah, who I think has kept them in the game and got some pivotal turnovers. But from England, I think Duffy's been fabulous, the way that she's controlled the game. Obviously, Amy Dale has made it easy work at the back of the maul. But I think Maisie Allen, both defensively and in attack, has been outstanding.
There is clearly a reason why Lizzie Duffy and Maisie Allen are the co-captains in this. As Scotland look to try and do something just as we close out this match. So the clock is gone,
England,
and they have set themselves up with a very nice line out here to get some points on the board in this second half. England will do everything they can to stop this.
5 calls.
The other thing that I love about this England team is we've spoken about how there's a lot of replacements, but every player that they seem to bring on is just the same quality and calibre.
England disrupt that one. Not to be for Scotland, and England want to play. Still 40 seconds to go on the stadium clock. Steph Ells. She started out playing rugby at Scarborough. No doubt a big fan of Zoe Allcroft. And here we come from Scotland. Fraser manages to get this move back and underway. Right then, have we got some points in the second half for Scotland? They've run out of grass on the near side. Fimster has stopped. Waiting for the ball is Law, needs it quicker. It was Ainsworth who was waiting for it. Now she's had to go in and do some dirty work.
Thank you, mate.
Spin it out once again. Nice work on the shoulder. That's what we like. Wings looking for work through Evie Tonkin. Now Scotland need to go forwards. This has been their problem. They have these bright patches, but they end up going backwards.
Stay.
Law. Ainsworth. This time. Still Scottish forwards powering on. It's still backwards. Oh, that could be a card. She was going for the ball with one hand. Depends how much the referee likes it. Advantage then to Scotland. Holly McIntyre, the captain, needs support. Oh, that's really nice. Spun out in the end. Started by Els. They'll come back for the penalty. Well, we're over the 80 now. Is he going to look at that hand? I know the clock is gone, but...
Rebecca, are we seeing a clear overlap or not?
So this was the moment.
Okay, not clear overlap, so just penalty only, deliberate knock-on.
So this was the pass. I mean, it's one hand, that's the problem. Is it a realistic take for the ball? Doesn't matter. Ref doesn't mind.
And you know what, it's frustrating because much like the earlier game, we saw Scotland have moments in the first 10 and the last 10, and that last passage was so nice to see them just come alive.
McGinley then. Oh, England disrupt, but McGinley was there waiting.
Stay where we are.
Spun out ball, waiting for it calmly was Walker. Oh, she is pushed backwards. Double tackles raining down. Ainsworth again manages to find the captain, McIntyre. She's pushed towards the far side. They're running out of track though as Tonkin is pushed to the floor.
Stay.
Scotland really want something out of this second half. So far, England denying them, but is this the moment? Big handoffs coming in by Pullman. She's been on and off the field, but still has the energy. It's another penalty advantage for Scotland. Big passes coming from Scotland now, waiting out.
That's
here.
forward, going back.
It was a forward pass, still a penalty for Scotland though.
Got me a mark, mate.
We are now 2.5 minutes past the clock.
Okay.
Going red.
14, roll clear.
It means something to Scotland. Every time you pull on that shirt, it does.
It absolutely does, yeah.
England, warning.
And the whole crowd is just on the edge of their seats. This last couple of minutes has been so exciting to watch.
Rachel Law with the tap, manages to find Lindsay. I have to say, some massive tackles there by Nicole White. Back once again.
Yeah,
Still Scottish ball.
We spoke about players, you know, who have impressed, and why there's one that when she's come on, I think the way that she's carried has been phenomenal. But the hits that she's just been putting in those last passages.
Knock on.
Well, the ball has been knocked on by Scotland. England have it back. When it goes dead next, the match will be over.
Lost water over here.
That is it. It was quite emphatic. We thought it was going to be closer than that in the first half. But the England under-20s have really pulled away and showed their class in this second half. Scotland continued to fight, but issues particularly around their exit and also go forward in their attack has really cost them. The full-time score, England under-20s 66, Scotland futures 19. We talked about some of the players that have impressed there. We know that there's going to be a back-to-back under-20s fixtures for the under-20s, England under-20s against Scotland under-20s. But you do feel that maybe like a player, like we said, like a Lizzie Duffy might just get a shot somewhere in this Six Nations, but in the big time.
Yeah, it would definitely be nice to see, you know, these players kick on. There's opportunities, like we've said. There's injuries at the minute in the Red Roses squad. So it will be interesting to see, particularly off the back of some of these performances, whether we see a few more of them in the mix. But we also spoke about this England squad having the ability to ring the changes, and the quality does not go down. They are still, you know, the calibre of player that they've got and the wealth of depth of player is phenomenal. So even if you take the likes of Lizzie Duffy and other players out, I don't think the standard will drop too much, which is a scarily exciting thing.
Exciting times. So full time then here at Kingston Park. Impressive stuff from the England under-20s, led of course by Lou Meadows. England under-20s 66, Scotland futures 19. Your final thoughts, Abby?
Well, I'd just also like to credit the way that Scotland stayed in it and wanted to play right to the last minutes, going overtime actually, wanting to play and played some of their best rugby in that last bit. I think if they clean up their exit, that's where they were, you know, under so much pressure. But there's a few easy fix-ups, I think. So it would be exciting to see the next fixture.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciated that. It's been a cold, it's been a wet night here in Newcastle, but there's been some brilliant rugby. Some bright young rugby players have shown what they can do on this field, and you never know where you might be seeing them play next. That is it from us. Thank you so much for joining us. Full time, it was England under-20 66, Scotland futures 19.